Hello, and welcome to today's Creating Photos and Video. I'm using this Comica mic, and I'm not using the lavalier. I'm using one of two mics that come with it, which is really kind of clever. These are the transmitters, and there's a receiver plugged into the iPhone XS that I'm using. It's called the Comica Boom XD mic system, and it's really quite a nice set. I'm only using one, obviously, and I've got it attached to my shirt, so that looks a little weird. But I'm doing that for partly for a reason, and that is it was the mic that I found first when I was looking to do this. And secondly, I just want to follow up on my video of the other day when I was talking about and showing you this Pivo smartphone mount that I had on this tripod, and I was using it in the backyard. And the clever thing about the Pivo is that it follows you along with the Pivo app that runs on the iPhone. And also it's available for Android. So though this really is a useful gadget with its accompanying app, and I will use it because it's perfect for those situations where I'm going to walk around in the backyard, as I explained before, maybe talking about different aspects of photography as part of my learning photography series. So I'll use it for that. And I also mentioned in my last video how I really pulled it out to see if it would be an argument against getting or rebuying a Insta360 camera, or a 360 camera. An Insta360 ONE X2 is the model I'm looking at. As I also mentioned the other day that I had, to me it was the original Insta360 ONE, no X involved, and that was in 2017. So it's been a while, and I ended up selling it because I just wasn't finding practical use. So in preparation for supporting my desire to buy this camera, and you know, once a gadgeter gets an idea in his or her head and starts to make arguments for why one should buy that gadget, it's hard to get that out of your head. And it's been plaguing me for the last week or so. But in doing my research, which of course means looking at reviews and watching YouTube videos, I've decided to buy it. In fact, I've ordered it, and it should be coming tomorrow. I decided to buy it because of, again, what I mentioned in my last video, that I want to be able to do videos where I can take one camera, and is one of the things that both Pivo and Insta360 flaunt in their ads is it's like having a camera crew of your own with you, and you're just one person. And indeed, that is it, and that's how I want to use it. I'll place it in front of, between me and what I'm drawing when I'm doing sketching, and I can after the fact edit the video, and that allows me to have the video showing me when I'm talking into the camera, so to speak. And then when I'm just talking about what I'm doing and why I'm making certain lines or so, I'll have to have a second camera over my shoulder so it'll show what I'm drawing. So I do have to do some piecing that way. But it will show what I'm drawing and why I'm making certain decisions. So I see it as a useful tool for that. And that brings me to the point that I have been somewhat disappointed in all of the videos, and I haven't read that many reviews, and I've been searching for someone who wants to do the same sort of thing that I'm doing. So if you know of anybody and want to suggest that person or those persons to me in the comments below, I really would appreciate it, because I have looked, and all I see for the most part are people just reviewing the camera, which makes sense. But when they give examples, even Insta360 itself, the company, when they have their promo videos, and they have their own channel on YouTube, they're all about like skateboarding, riding a motorcycle, using the camera on your car, those hiking along or running along and showing the scenery. And that's fine, and that's certainly one of the reasons that this camera is very popular. But it's not what I want to do. And so it's really a little frustrating that I'm not finding anybody else thinking of the same thing. So this kind of gives me a little impetus to continue doing more videos to fill that gap insofar as it turns out that it really is a practical use for the camera. Certainly it's a practical use for the camera. Is it, however, a reason, an only reason to buy it? Because one can, as I'm doing now, I have the camera facing me, and it's got me. I could have the other camera, or another camera, another iPhone. I have an old iPhone 6 that I use as my second camera, or I could use a regular camera and have that focused on what I'm drawing, and then do that merge in post between those two videos. So certainly you can do that without having to buy a 360 camera. But at any rate, that's where I am in my decision making. I have decided, I have purchased the camera, and now it's about how I'm going to use it beyond just what I just described, but rather the microphone I'm going to use with it. So you can use AirPods, and I have a set of AirPods. I was using those in the last video with the Pivo in my iPhone. But the Insta360 ONE X2, which is the model, as I said, that I've ordered, will allow you to use the Bluetooth Apple AirPods. And presumably, based on some other videos I've watched, you can use other Bluetooth microphones. So that's another thing I'm going to experiment with. But I want to see if I can use this Comica, because I'll put the man's name down. His name is Stephen, and I can't remember his last name, from Northern Ireland, has a great channel, and he was showing the use of this wireless mic set, or at least a model very close to it, where he attached the transmitter to the selfie stick that he was using. And the important thing with this Insta360 camera is that you have a very slim profile below it, so that the tripod doesn't show up in the stitched video that results from the videoing. So you've got to keep that microphone apparatus also in line so it doesn't show up. And so that's the advantage. The transmitter for this actually plugs into a lightning port on my iPhone, so I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do that, because the Insta360 ONE X2 uses a USB-C port that you uncover, and you can buy an adapter, an audio adapter plug-in that then allows you to put a 3.5 millimeter plug into that port. So I may have to jury-rig that a little bit, just as Stephen did, but that's another thing that I want to experiment with. Okay, so that's where I am right now, just a couple days after I showed you this Pivo unit. One of the nice things too about the Insta360 ONE X2 is, I'll just call it the ONE X2, is that it has a mode that allows you to shoot, basically it can be used like a sort of a semi-action camera. So you can take straight video with it. It doesn't have to be 360, and you can change that straight video from a wide angle to a little bit more standard angle. And what I'll do with the video, the 360 video I do capture, is I'll reframe it after the fact as I described and export it as a regular video. So I'm not going to be doing the 360 where you have to sort of, you're in the environment. I will, play around with the camera when I get it tomorrow, and have to experiment with I can certainly use the AirPods to record. So I'll make a video soon after I get it. And then I'll start experimenting with the microphone possibilities, or the audio possibilities, and I'll share that with you. So I'm back on with something I think is worthwhile sharing, and with a niche that's not being filled as far as I'm able to find, as to how one uses a 360 camera as that camera crew everybody flaunts. Thank you again for checking in on me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.